guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled You're Going to Call the Police. Sure, I'll wait. Background. I am a husband vet and a police officer. Also, I am currently on admin duty because I tore my quad when I failed to properly jump a fence during a foot chase, so I am walking with a cane currently. Cast. Karen equals Karen. AM equals awesome manager. BC equals buddy cop. Me equals hi, it's me. The event? I had just gotten off of my duty shift and decided that since the weather is going to be nice over my weekend, I am going to get a couple steaks, some corn and just stuff for a cookout with a couple of my buddies. I am looking at the steaks, comparing it cuts before I put one back. When I hear it, the mating call of the wild Karen, this is a sound that I am familiar with. But she can't seriously think that I work here. I am in a plain, logoless white polo shirt, tucked into my uniform pants, midnight blue cargo pants, and my black boots. The workers here wear black button-up shirts, khaki pants, and a green apron with the store name on it. Managers tend to wear black pants but still have the apron, but with manager on the name tag. Sure enough, it was for me. Since I had ignored her, I earned an even more stern throat clearing directed toward me, and then a shrill, "Excuse me." I'm an a-hole, but I also think I am hilarious. This is a horrible combination when facing a Karen. It is because of this disastrous mix of character traits that I call back to her, without a look. "Absolutely, you are excused. The bathroom is that way," with a gesture toward the sign to the restrooms, before adding, "and I'm sure they have something in the pharmacy if you need more than that." Karen. That is no way to speak to a customer. You didn't even ask what I needed. Now? Me? Interrupting her. "Look, I don't care. I am not an employee here. I have no duty to help you. I do not look anything like a staff member here. If there is nothing else, I will be returning to my shopping." Yes, I know, I was rude. I am not going to make excuses for it. I have very little patience for these entitled morons. Karen, in full banshee shriek, "I want your manager, I'm going too." Me, going into full knife-handing NCO Marine, bellow out, "Shut your mouth. I am a customer. I don't work here. Stop harassing me." The problem with going full devil dog, when in public, is the general public is not accustomed to the volume level a good yell from the diaphragm can produce. Also, the tone of voice is very hostile. The bigger problem of going full devil dog is when you are using a cane to keep you standing. It becomes very easy for you to be toppled. And this is exactly what Karen did. Fair play, Karen, fair play. She kicked my cane out from under my hand, and I was too far forward to recover and went down like a sack of potatoes. She then started hitting me with her purse. I have been hit harder by pillows wielded by my 6-year-old niece, and yelling about me assaulting her and needing the police. I don't know if it was 2 minutes or 30 seconds, but it wasn't that long. It just felt like it was a bit, because I was embarrassed about how easily I went down and how much it hurt my leg. But it was this point that AM comes over and gets Karen off of me and helps me up. The whole time Karen is still screaming, until she remembered that she had her own phone and called 911, screaming things at me like, "I'm calling the police. You're in trouble now, and I didn't ask for you to assault me." What? AM looked at me as confused as I was, and I just shrugged. Do you know what is going on? Me? Yeah. She tried to get my attention. I made a glib remark. She told me to get my manager. I dressed her down. Then as I was in the middle of unloading on her, I think she kicked my cane and I went down. You saw the rest. Karen. Liar. You felt me up, and then when I pushed you off of me, you hit me with that stick, and if it wasn't for the fact that I hit you with my purse, I'd be dead. At this time, I'm pretty sure the dispatcher had said something to her, as she said into the phone, "Yeah, he's about 6 foot, a large white man, in a white polo and black pants with boots. We're at the store name and location. Yes, I think I am safe, the manager is here. But he seems to know my attacker. I think he wants to assault me too." No, Karen, no. No one wants to assault you. AM and I exchange looks before AM asked me. It appears she called the police. "Can I ask you to wait in the store?" he says to me. Me, with a nod, "Sure, I'll wait." It was only a couple of minutes before BC comes walking up. My last name. What is happening here? We got a call about a sexual assault. The fact that I was addressed before Karen sent her into orbit. I could see BC eye just glaze over, and since I had trained BC when she joined the force, I knew this meant has already tuned the irate Karen out. I just looked at BC and said, "Take her statement, this is the manager on duty, then review the security footage." Karen being Karen starts with the, "We don't need the security footage. This man sexually assaulted me, arrest him." And she also threw this gem out, "You're a woman, and you know him. You must know what type of a man he is. You can be honest that he probably has assaulted you too." BC looked over to the manager and said, "I think it would help more if I were to see that footage first." It was at this point that BC partner tells the Karen that we both, Karen and I, are supposed to stay with him, while BC goes with the manager. Apparently, not only did the security camera catch everything in 1080p, but it also had audio. BC returned about 5 minutes later, looked at her partner, and then pointed to Karen. "Arrest her for assault and making a false report." BC then got into Karen's face and said, "I have been raped in the past. It is people like you that make false claims that make it so hard for us actual victims to get the help we need." And that was really the end of it. The AM helped me get the rest of my things for the grill out, and I got a nice 25% off coupon. The next story is titled Life-Threatening. This counts as one of my more surreal moments in life. There have been many I don't work here moments in my life. I seem to have a poise or face for retail or something. But this incident stands far above the others. I was at a print shop that rented computers for customer use. I was using one to update and print a resume, as well as some other documents I wanted to refresh and print. This was actually quite a bit back when not everyone had computers in their home or printers. So for a few bucks you could rent a slot and type and get your work done. This particular day was dead for the print shop. It was me all by myself and one employee who kept going into the back. He was the manager and he was trying to get some inventory or something like that done. So the cast is the manager, myself, and later, this older man. I was typing away when the door opened and an old man walks in. He looks around and marches over to the self-service copiers. I had looked up since he'd been the only one to come in the whole time I was there so far. I'm still typing my resume and trying to figure out how I'm going to lay out everything and which references to use. You know, stuff that hardly matters at all these days. Manager is still in the back. For a few minutes, I just keep working when I hear a noise. That sort of a hum, throat noise some people make to get someone's attention. I turn and the old man is right behind me. He's holding some papers out at me and staring directly at me. I have no idea what he wants, so I look at him confused. "Did you need something?" I finally ask. He grunts at me, and points at the self-service machines and says, "They don't work." I've been in and out of this shop a lot and know how the machines work, so I figure, what the hell, and stand up and walk over to the machines. A quick check verifies they are working, so I ask him what he wants to copy. He holds out the papers again. I don't take them. I just double-check the machines and show him where to put the papers. Face up right here. I remember saying and then showed him the number pad for the number of copies needed and the big green start button. I walked him through it and then turned and went back to my computer to do my work. Remember, I paid for a slot of time on the machine. If I run over, I have to buy more time. I'm sitting down at the computer and I'm about to start typing when my chair suddenly jerks around, startling the hell out of me as old man is towering over me and he begins cussing me out. I slide sideways out of the chair, grab the back of the chair, pull it free, and shove it between us. I'm freaking out. He's yelling, cussing, trying to grab the chair and jerk it away, and I'm fighting to keep it between us as the only shield I have. Somewhere during all the yelling and my freaking out, thinking this man has lost his mind, I put together some of his rambling. He thought I was an employee and I wasn't doing my job. Let's not even get into the point about self-service machines are just that, self-service. You shouldn't be making someone else run your copies on self-service machines. I finally managed to blurt out, "I don't work here," while he continues to yell and try to jerk the chair away from in between us. I was genuinely concerned if that little bit of space wasn't maintained he'd attack me. He begins yelling at me about why did I help him then, and I was like I was trying to be nice. He then countered with, "Then why are you the only person here if you don't work here?" To which he sort of had a point. But before I could explain, the manager was in the back, which by this point the manager was now coming through the door looking very concerned, having clearly heard the yelling. The old man yells something about terrible service, being in the military, and then yells, "I'm going to kill you." My blood went cold as the old man reaches both hands out for my neck. "Get away from him now," yelled the manager. The second the old man turned to look at who yelled at him, I literally jumped over a divider/shelf used to sort or staple or whatever, to put it between me and the old man. He was positively red in the face, his fists were clenched. I can still remember his tan pants and slip-on brown shoes with the worn toe tips, and the wrinkled button-up, faded navy blue shirt. I can still see the few wisps of hair on his head, combed into a slight circle. He was burned into my mind and I was freaking out. The manager is not a small guy. I am. But the manager was well-built and easily dwarfed the old man. Old man took one look at the manager and realized he couldn't fight this guy. Before I could say a word, before the manager could even ask what happened, the old man jabbed a bony finger at me and yelled that I had threatened him, been horribly rude to him, and that I needed to be fired. I was livid. He had threatened me after I tried to be nice and worse, and moved on me as if he meant to actually carry out the threat. I was legitimately worried he would have killed me over a few black and white copies. The manager spoke 2 words very firmly: "Get out." There was a tone to them I heard as clear as day. This was not just "get out." This was, "I'm calling the cops and this is your only chance to leave. Get out." The old man looked at me and smiled. He was actually smug and grinning at me. I was confused for a moment until I put it together. He thought I had been fired and was the one being told to leave. I looked at the manager, who was still staring directly at the old man. "Did you hear me, sir?" The manager said. "I told you to get out. If you and I will call the cops." It was then old man realized manager was speaking to him. "But he talked to me," the old man started. I assumed he was about to try and read the manager the riot act for speaking to him like that, but he was never given a chance. The manager said something to the effect of, "This is not a debate. Leave now. Take your belongings. Get out and never come in this store again." The manager never once raised his voice. He was just rigidly firm in tone, but not yelling or even raising his voice beyond a certain point to be heard. "I saw what you did and heard you threaten this customer. Now leave." Customer. The old man looked genuinely confused for a few moments. He kept looking back and forth between us. It might have been funny if he hadn't threatened to kill me. Then I saw the look in his eyes. That moment of comprehension when he saw my backpack, the files, the fact that I had been working in a rented computer spot. Only then did he realize I did not work there. And how did he respond? He got super red in the face again and started charging towards me, yelling something incoherent, but along the lines of "why you little," with a lot more vulgarities. But the manager was quick. Suddenly, he was in between us, and he spoke very softly this time. "I will physically throw you through that door if you do not leave now. Not out the door, through it," manager said. I should note it is a glass door, and I was quite impressed. I'm a noticeably short guy, and I got picked on LOT by bullies, and to this day, bigger people like to torment me still, so I remember whenever anyone stands up for me. I was impressed. Old man realizes this is over, grabs his papers off the floor and walks out the door. Manager follows him and locks the door behind him so no one can come in. The next several minutes are a blur as I spent the time having an anxiety attack and trying to calm down. He went in the back briefly to check the security footage and then came out and started making detailed notes of what happened. In the end, he refunded me the rental fee and gave me open usage on the machine to finish my resume and other work. He would only go in the back if absolutely necessary and kept a clear eye out in case old man returned. He even checked the parking lot to confirm the man had indeed left. In the end, no cops were called because I was just done and couldn't handle it. But the manager assured me that man would never be welcome there again, and if he did come in again, he'd call the cops and give them everything. So yeah, that's my most traumatic "I don't work here" story. As a note, I know some will say the guy should have been arrested, but by the time I was calm enough to be able to speak clearly, he was gone. The police could have come anytime and only gotten the manager's statement and the video of the incident, and it'd be enough. I just couldn't handle dealing with the police on top of this. The next story is titled "You Want an Appointment with Me?" Sure. This happened a few months ago, but the problem had been going on for years. Every other month, I would get a text message from someone asking for a doctor or to make an appointment. I started off immediately informing them they got the wrong number. Hey, it happens. When it started happening more frequently, I dealt with the minor annoyance by trying to have some fun. Is Dr. Lee available? Me? There's no Dr. Lee here. Only Dr. 1. Dr. 1 number. It was funny until the volume of messages started increasing and I got annoyed. A quick Google search led me to the clinic's page. Their number was indeed easily mistakable for mine. Theirs ends with -013 and mine with -073, and the font used certainly made it worse. I called the clinic to inform them of this problem and that they needed to do something about it. Change the font, spell the numbers out, or even change their number. I just wanted the messages to stop. The lady just brushed me off and said there was nothing she could do. I asked to speak to someone in charge but was denied. She told me to change my number or just deal with it. So here comes the part where I dealt with it. After an odd month of peace, I received several messages over a week asking to make an appointment. Hi, I would like to make an appointment, please. Me? Sure. The next available slot is next Friday at 10. Would that work for you? I made very sure never to claim that I represented the clinic. If anyone asked for a specific doctor, I would say there is no such person here, and if they did ask for the clinic, I'd inform them they got the wrong number. Basically, I had myself covered, and I tried to have everyone's appointment at the same time. When Friday came around, I received several angry replies from those people and a call from the clinic. Messages went generally like this: "You're a terrible person. Why would you do this to waste my time? Why do you pretend to be the clinic?" Me? I'm sorry, ma'am, but I run a PC repair service, except I don't take appointments via SMS, nor is my personal number listed. I was expecting you at 10, but you didn't show. If you looked at your message, you never asked if I was the clinic, and I never claimed to be. And the call went like this: CL, clinic lady. CL, hi, who is this? Why did you pretend to be us and arranged for all these appointments? Me, I called you months ago letting you know about this, but you told me to deal with it. So I set appointments up for them to see me. It's not my fault they showed up at your door. Maybe you should change your phone number. I hang up. Sure, I felt a little bad I made those people travel to the clinic, but I've since stopped receiving messages from random people, and after checking on the clinic site, they now have an online appointment making system. The next story is titled Apparently I'm a Doctor. I'm fairly new here, and this is a long story, but hey. So let's say my name is John Doe. I often get phone calls that go like, "Hey, Jayon." I reply something sensible, and they go, "Listen, I have such and such issue with a patient." It's always annoying calls about medical events or colleagues. Bear in mind, I'm an engineer. So this idiot Dr. John Poe has a name that's almost identical to mine and decided whenever someone annoyed him, he gives him the same wrong number, my number. And every other call I get is "I don't work here" scenario, adding SMS and WhatsApp. I got fed up, found his number, and tried contacting him to no avail. I sent him a message with a lawyer who contacted me and knew him personally, and a girl he was dating to no avail. So I figured I would have some fun. I know for a fact he sees face-to-face some of these people, so I started interrupting them as they began asking. Once I knew they were not patients and hanging up, I said stuff like, "Sorry, can't talk. I just found out I'm getting a divorce." Some of the excuses I used are "got herpes, I'm in jail." Silly, more or less harmless stuff. Then I ran out of ideas and began saying things to the effect of, "It's not urgent, but I really need to discuss something with you." I wasn't trying to get him into trouble or worry anyone too much, but annoy him. So one day I get a call from John. He wants me to stop, is quite mad, wants me to change numbers. That's not gonna happen. That's the last time I heard of John. Kinda miss him, actually. The next story is titled Karen Follows Me into the Men's Restroom. A few weeks ago, I was visiting my local big box bookstore, looking for good clearance items before the store closed permanently. The dead mall it was attached to is being demolished. The store has no dress code, but the employees do wear lanyards and I wasn't. So I was browsing around my preferred sci-fi section when I realized I needed to use the nearby restroom. So I headed in that direction, which happened to also be next to the mid-store customer service counter. Karen notices me, positions herself directly in front of me, and blocking my path to my urinary destination. "I don't know why you don't keep that desk staffed, but I really need your help finding my book. Are you going to help me or not?" "Not," I say, remembering the urgency of my business, and I step around her with a variation of "I don't work here," continuing to my destination, thinking that will be the end of the encounter. It's not to be. I hear her voice rising in pitch and volume, on its way to full Karen Banshee, as she literally follows me into the men's room, and I'm convinced she was about to grab my arm and pull me around to face her. Being conscious of social norms about public exposure, I made it into a stall and locked the door for privacy. That didn't stop her from knocking on the door and threatening to get me fired, before she heard the really solid string hit the water and, I'm convinced, realized for the first time what it was she had done. I heard her embarrassed sounding squeak/huff, and she hightailed it out of there. I finished my thing and washed my hands and came out to witness her being escorted out of the store by a properly lanyarded employee. I only caught the tail end of the conversation where Karen stated she was never coming here again. And the employee had a classic response: "Neither am I, we're closing." If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.